Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. We have a great show for you tonight. As is customary, we have some musical accompaniment from Mr. Tim Pate, Mr. Jonathan Eater. How are you gentlemen tonight?
We're here.
And we're expecting an illustrious guest, Mr. George Cervantes, here in the studio momentarily. So we'll be taking your phone calls and questions for one of the master cannabis grower experts in the world, George Cervantes, the author of Marijuana Horticulture. So stand by for that. We also have some film clips we'll be playing from some of his DVDs, taking your phone calls and more. So stay tuned for that. And we'll bring out our infamous Dancing Cannabis Leaves.
I feel the force.
So this is our Hemp News segment. We have a few interesting stories for you tonight. Our first one is out of Oakland, California. Obama administration officials oppose plans by the city of Oakland to license and tax industrial-sized medical cannabis producers, according to published reports this week by CaliforniaWatch.org, the website of the Center for Investigative Reporting. Sources at the United States Department of Justice, or DOJ, and the United States Attorney's Office in San Francisco said that federal officials would likely pursue criminal or civil litigation against local marijuana growers as well as Oakland city officials if they decide to move forward with plans to license medical cannabis farming. According to an unnamed administration official who told this to California Watch, quote, Oakland would be on the hook for violating state and federal law, end quote. Oakland, California City Attorney John Russo confirmed that the Department of Justice officials are opposed to the city's licensing plan. Russo said, quote, they've expressed their concern that the path Oakland is taking is in violation of the law, end quote, Russo said in a prepared statement. Russo had previously voiced objections to the legislation and had issued a memo to the members of the City Council in Oakland, California in August, raising legal concerns about the plan. The Bay Citizen reported this Tuesday. Oakland officials are seeking to license up to 4 industrial-sized medical marijuana grow operations. The permits do not set limits regarding the quantity of cannabis that licensed producers may cultivate at each of the given sites. City officials began accepting applications from prospective growers in November. Licensed growers are required to pay $211,000 as an annual fee to the city of Oakland to operate the cultivation sites. It's been estimated that the 4 facilities could yield the city between $4.8 million and $7.7 million per year in tax revenue. According to the California Watch website report, federal officials are also planning to initiate a broader crackdown on marijuana production and distribution statewide. The story reports the Department of Justice and Drug Enforcement Administration, or DEA, officials met with California's 4 U.S. attorneys on November 10th, quote, to develop a plan to deal with some of the loopholes and gray areas in the California state medical marijuana program, end quote. Our next story tonight is from Trenton, New Jersey. State Department of Health officials will revise regulations regarding the implementation of New Jersey's Compassionate Medical Marijuana Act. The forthcoming guidelines, which were endorsed by the governor's office on Friday, will allow for 6 licensed facilities in New Jersey to produce and dispense marijuana to authorized patients. The previously published regulations had called for no more than 2 state licensed producers. The new New Jersey regulations will prohibit facilities from engaging in the home delivery of medical cannabis. The proposal also restricts the percentage of THC that may be present in cannabis to no more than 10% and limits the varieties of legally available cannabis at New Jersey's soon to open dispensaries to just 6 strains, and prohibits the sale of any edible medical marijuana products. Patients suffering from seizures, glaucoma, and intractable muscle spasms will be required to exhaust all other treatment options before their doctor may recommend marijuana under these new proposals in New Jersey. That makes New Jersey's medical marijuana program the most restrictive in the country. Our last story tonight is from New York State. The administration of oral synthetic THC is associated with improved symptoms of psychosis in patients with refractory schizophrenia, according to the findings of 4 case reports published in the November issue of the Journal of Clinical Psychiatry. Investigators at the Rockland Psychiatric Center in Orangeburg, New York, the Columbia University Medical Center, and the New York University School of Medicine assessed the efficacy of oral THC, or Dronabinol or Marinol, on 8 patients with refractory psychosis. The subjects in the trial had a history of symptomatic improvement when using cannabis and had been unresponsive to conventional medical treatments. Researchers reported significant improvement in the 4 of the 8 patients after oral THC treatment. In particular, the authors reported that cannabinoid administration produced a significant reduction in the subject's aggressive tendencies. No patients in the study experienced any significant adverse effects from THC. The investigators concluded, quote, "It appears that a predisposed subset of patients with schizophrenia may actually improve with cannabinoid stimulation," end quote. The team had previously reported positive results with oral cannabinoid therapy in 4 of 6 patients with chronic refractory schizophrenia. In March, investigators at Edmundston Regional Hospital in New Brunswick, Canada, reported that male patients diagnosed with schizophrenia obtained subjective benefits from inhaling cannabis. Survey data published in 2008 in the International Journal of Mental Health Nursing also reported that schizophrenic patients obtained subjective relief from cannabis, finding that subjects consumed cannabis to reduce anxiety, mitigate memories of childhood trauma, enhance cognition, and improve their mental state. The full text of this study, named Improvement in Refractory Psychosis with Dronabinol, 4 case reports, appears in the Journal of Clinical Psychiatry this month. And that is the end of our Hemp News segment. We have some music here from Tim Pate and Jonathan Eder. How are you gentlemen tonight?
Well, you know, we're doing good.
Good.
It's always an interesting time, you know. Things have really changed a lot over the last few years since we've been in this business, that's for sure. And
certainly has.
I'm really glad to see some improvements. I am definitely glad to see it. So anyway, that's we've decided on a little piece of blues, so we'll play some blues for you.
All right.
Ready? All right. So I got some blues for you. Oh, you make me so sad. Yeah, and I got some news for you. Oh, you could come over and make a monkey out of me. So now in the night, as I dream all alone, well, I get the blues. I should have learned a long, long, long time ago what a man keeps, what he lets go on. So now in the nighttime, as I dream all alone, well, I get the blues. Dream you by my side every night. Oh, when the daylight comes, ain't nowhere in sight. So then in the daytime, as I dream all of you, swallow them keeps. While he lets go. So now in the nighttime, there's a dream all of you. Well, I'll get the blues. Yeah, I 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 get the blues. Thank you, folks. Thank you.
That's Tim Pate and Jonathan Eder. We'll be back here at the closing bell here in just a moment. We're very happy to have on our show tonight illustrious guest, Mr. Jorge Cervantes, who has many books and things like this DVD out there. Welcome to the show, George.
Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. Really nice of you to invite me here.
Well, thanks for coming on. I'm sure we got a lot of viewers who have questions. We get questions about growing almost every week, several of them, and usually I'm the fellow on the spot. But this week, hey, we could turn to you for your expert. Now, this is how many versions of that book, Marijuana Horticulture, have come out?
This one right here, this is the one, maybe people know it. It's got a light bulb on the cover. That's how people remember it generally. This right here is a 5th edition. I started in 1983. So
I remember first getting it in 1984.
Oh yeah, but this is a game I used to play for years.
We show this on this show on a regular basis.
Really?
And so
little clips
yes,
from
we do.
it,
Yeah, we've been for
excellent.
many
That's
years.
a good thing.
We've been running the clips, and so people will recognize you with your heavy, your heavy dark mustache and heavy dark. But this is the man right here.
It's also a Halloween costume
That's
now
true.
in certain circles, Some people
That's funny. I've heard of that. People have they've gone as me for Halloween. It's weird.
I know.
It's just weird.
I saw a picture just tonight. I'm sure you'll see one here a little bit later here.
Yeah, but this book's done well. It's what I'm really proud of. Oh, I see. There's a sick plant. Oh. Anyway,
What's wrong with that leaf, George?
it's gonna go. We can talk about that. Boy, I'll tell you in a minute. There's several things. But we're going to have this in Russian this year, or next year. It goes into Russian. I'm very, very, very,
How
very
many
proud
other
of that.
languages do you have
It's
it in
in
currently?
Spanish, it's in Italian, it's in French. They had to take some words out in the French edition. And I'm making a deal right now to put it in Hebrew, another one in Polish, and probably Czech as well. So, yeah, we're a worldwide thing.
That's great.
Not surprised.
It's a global cannabis movement, that's for sure.
Well, it's a great book. How long did it take you to really perfect the skills that you've portrayed in your book now for so many years?
Boy, I don't know if I'm perfected yet.
Fair enough.
You
Honestly,
just
that's fair
keep
enough.
learning stuff.
Well, 83, that's
I'm learning.
27 years now.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember picking up the first edition, and I remember telling you, I consider this to be my Bible back circa about 1984, and I noticed a few years later you must have heard it from a lot of other people. So
Yeah, I've heard it more than once. trust
yeah,
me.
I'm sure many other
as it
people.
feels very
started-
good.
As it should
because
be.
Yeah,
It's all right.
it really helped me a lot in my.
And, if you look at this, though, there's a lot of other people that help, not just me. I mean, I'm one guy, and we are many together.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
so it takes everybody. I'm kind of like just a switch, where everybody feeds me information, and then I give it to everybody else. And that's all right, I like that. And everybody else does too, so that's why they keep doing it, But I'm really fortunate people feed me tons of information, and they invite me into their grow rooms. And I'm able to help them, and they're able to help me, and in turn, I can help everybody else. And it works great.
You know what? We do take viewer phone calls, so if you're out there and you have a question for us tonight, you can call that number that's there on your screen. It's 503 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. And we have our first caller of the evening. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hello.
Hello?
There you are.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
I recently became a proud card holder, and I was wondering, I'm going to have a problem finding a provider. Any ideas?
You know, there are more and more options out there for that every day. I mean, if you go to the state of Colorado, there were 1,100 dispensaries there this summer. I think since they've enacted regulations, it's down to about 700. But there are more and more places out there. I really can't make any immediate recommendations, but just keep your eyes open. I just read an article in the Bend Bulletin about 3 different dispensaries opening up in the city of Bend. There's a number of them here in Portland. Some of them have been covered in the Oregonian. Even out on the coast in Coos Bay and Newport, there are little dispensaries springing up there. Now, in terms of finding a good provider, my first recommendation is you go to your family and friends and get someone you know and trust, because it is a pretty sensitive responsibility for your grower and to provide you. So it's best to work out all the details beforehand. That help any?
Some.
Well, yeah, it does, but it doesn't, because I don't have any family contact anymore, so that's out. You know how that goes. The McCoys and the Hatfields. Can you tell me anything about this?
Keep your ears open, though. I mean, these things change from time to time. Watching the newspapers, looking periodicals that come out, you know.
And keep watching this show.
Yes.
We'll have some more options we'll be talking about in the months ahead. So
Over
just
the
stay
years,
tuned.
we've had a lot of different options that do appear. So, you know, just keep your ears open. Things can change from time to time.
Where's this dispensary located at? Do you know?
Not right off the top of my head. Since I grow my own, I don't need to go there.
And what do you think of Cannabis Cafe? I've never been there either. I was thinking
It's
about
a fun
going there.
place to go. It's really
try it out.
nice. And in fact, since you brought it up, there's going to be at the Cannabis Cafe next weekend. Maybe we'll get camera 2 to close in on this. A Cannabis Cup coming up on Saturday, the 18th. So they'll have an open public event coming up on Saturday, the 18th. It looks like it's there on 82nd Avenue and 322 Southeast 82nd Avenue. And it's a day-long event. So there's also going to be a gardening seminar with Danny Danko of High Times Magazine, and Paul Loney will have a legal panel. So just that's one place, and it'll be open to the public, so that might be a good time to stop in.
And also, one more question, sir. How do I contact Normal? There's nobody there to answer the phone, of course. But
well, leave a message or go to their website, ORNORML, for the Oregon Normal chapter. That's ORNORML.org, or you can go to their national website at NORML.org.
And how often are there meetings, do you know?
I think it's twice a month.
Oh.
Yeah, twice a month on Saturdays.
On Saturdays?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it's up there on Hawthorne somewhere in southeast Portland.
I think it's at
That was some years back.
yeah, I think it's
It's
over
changed
on
position.
82nd now.
Oh, okay.
They're at 322 Southeast 82nd. That's one slot. Since I have the address right here, pretty easy for me.
But you definitely need to network. There's no doubt about it. And so, you know, get out there and talk to some folks. It's better face-to-face. Over the phone, you're never going to find what you're looking for. You need to go face-to-face with some folks.
Yeah,
You do.
If I can find somebody to go face-to-face with, I would.
Well, we just gave you a couple of
Yeah,
options and ideas.
yeah,
So
I
you need to
appreciate
get up
that.
and do it.
Good luck. Thanks for your phone call.
Thanks, guys.
You bet.
If you have a question or comment for us tonight, you can call us at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. If you're watching us on the internet, we're streaming live on ustream.tv, and there's a little text chat box that you can type in questions, and through the magic of modern technology, we'll be able to get those questions and attempt to answer them right here on the TV. Go to that website there on our screen, ustream.tv. And we have a question from an audience member here. Go right ahead, audience member.
I was just going to comment that the normal meetings are on the second Saturday of the month now, just once a month.
Okay. That's good to know.
And that is at the cafe.
Thank you.
There you go. Now, Jorge, George.
Yeah.
Either way, probably, or which way do you prefer?
Well, it depends. Usually people don't say my name properly in Spanish, so it's easier George. I'm an American citizen, and my real name is George Van Patten. I had to make, a disguise and everything, and take
It was
another
scary days
persona.
back during the Reagan administration when you
Yes.
first put out the first edition of that book, and it got pretty even scarier in more recent times.
I was going to say, we've had so many arrests that I think those days are still around. It's still kind of
They're
scary.
still here.
Yeah,
They're
it's
still
still
with
scary.
us.
Yeah, and we're
It's,
fighting it, but
the people think that the war is still on, and it's the last ditch effort because it's over. The war is all over.
it's not over
it
if the
is.
police are kicking in your door right now. It's just begun for you. So, or the
Right.
person that's facing that sort of problem.
Yeah, and
Listen,
that's what we're fighting.
I spent the last 8 years outside of America,
Right.
because I was afraid. I was afraid to live here. I was afraid for my personal safety. And
I remember back in 2001, you took me out to breakfast and said, with the election of GW, you were very, very unhappy and ready to
We've said
leave,
that on
and
the
you
show.
did.
We've discussed it on the show.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I was afraid for my safety, and
Yeah.
friends of mine are in jail still.
Yeah.
Ours
And
too.
Yeah, we all have friends in jail.
Yes, we do.
Do you know in
Yeah.
this country there's 101 out of every 138 or 132 people is in jail?
Right.
That's horrid. That's
crazy.
horrid. In Spain, I have nobody, no friend in jail, not one.
Amen.
And here, how many?
Yeah.
How many? You all have friends in jail. Everybody here.
We do.
Everybody.
We have another caller. Welcome to our show, caller.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
I'm
Howdy.
a medical cannabis grower, and I have a question for George. We are having a problem in curing our cannabis to where we're trying to find a fine line between not letting it mold, but yet letting it get too dry. We keep them in the glass jars, and we do burp the glass jars because we have had some that did mold. And so to prevent the molding, we are burping the jars, but then we find that if we burp the jars too much, that it's getting too dry. So I was wondering if he had any suggestions.
Yeah, you probably have mold on it. It's probably got mold before it goes into the jar. And generally what happens, you probably have all kinds of mildew. The big one is a powdery mildew. And botrytis isn't so bad, but that's botrytis cinera. But you can have this powdery mildew, and this year it's been horrid. We had 1 year in Spain where it was horrid, 2 years, and now it's not so bad. You have to start controlling it early on because it's a systemic thing, and it could start in your plants already, right? And you have to kill it before it gets in if you want to do it organically, because there's Bacillus subtilis is one of the bacillus, bacterias. And Serenade's one of the products that they use, right? And you have to put that on your plant before the mold comes. And then you have to keep that up before the mold comes. And then after that, keep other plants that are molding away. Because this year it was horrid. Everything had mold. I have crepe myrtles where I was growing this year in California. And they had it, my plants got it, I kept ahead of it on some of them, did an experiment on the others. And they didn't look too well. But anyway, there's that point, you start there, and then after that, when you harvest the plants, you take all the branches, and you put them in a bucket, a container like this, full of water with, say, a 2% solution of hydrogen peroxide, H2O2. And then you soak them in there for a while. It sounds kind of funny, but you soak them in there. The mold floats up to the top. You skim that off. Might take a couple of times, and then you skim that off, and then you take your plants and you lightly spray them with water. I don't know exactly what it does to the trichomes. It may beat them a little bit, but I would use like a light spray, not heavy spray, just to kind of rinse it off. and then you shake that, and then you let it dry, or you can put it in a harvesting machine, or a trimming machine. But then you can put it into your container, But the second control I already gave was, when it had mold on it already. And that stuff, it's hard to see, Once you see it, it's there. It's inside the plant. You can't change that. So one of the things I've been playing with, I was playing with one of those green lights, you put on your head and walk around in the in the grow room with. We were filming I'm doing a lot of videos now, and we were filming in a grow room, and I was looking around with this green light, and you can see the mold. It sticks out. Oh, cool. Yeah, and so the next thing I'm going to do is get the UVC light. Not UVB, but UVC. It'll burn your eyes, but you can shine it on the mold and it'll kill it right on the plant, So that's a big tip. Please pay attention.
There you go, from the master himself.
All right, thank you very much.
It's a long answer, and it's not always easy, but it's hopefully, you got to kill it before it gets to the jar, is what's happening. And then when it dries out really a lot, that means the mold got it. That's what all that means. Sorry.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's been very helpful information.
Okay.
Thanks for your call. If you're out there and you have a question for us tonight, you can call us. If you're watching on the 10th of December, 2010, we're live, and you can call us at 503-288-4448.
So can we expect more videos from you soon?
Yeah, sure. I did a video. I call it the Big Plant video. You can see it on my website.
Close the microphone.
I hate it when that happens.
You can see this video on my website, marijuanagrowing.com, and that's marijuana with a J. Or you can type in on YouTube, type in Jorge Cervantes 10 pound, and you'll see a nice video on 10 pound plants. I'm very proud of it. We did a very good job, and I want to promote everybody to grow, all medical patients and caregivers to grow at least 10 pound plants outdoors. It's very easy. It takes time. I want to see it. Everybody should do this.
I've been advocating for that here on this show for some time. So
great idea.
Great to hear. Too, by the way. When you started talking about it the other day, I went, well, did you know I've been advocating that too?
No, we're in the same garden, dude.
Yeah, that's cool. We have a film clip now from Mr. Cervantes, so stay tuned, and we'll be back to take more phone calls and questions in just a moment.
It's maybe him in disguise. So.
Yeah, it'll be fast.
I like planting the things and watering them and looking after them, talking to them. I don't like fucking harvesting.
You like smoking them, don't you?
I like smoking them.
A bountiful harvest is the payoff for all the research, work, risk, and investment you put into your grow room, not to mention the long, patient wait. A well-organized harvest is essential to ensure the highest quality cannabis.
The best way to tell when one of these buds is ripe is to look at the resin glands. The resin glands tell a story.
Get a close-up look at resin glands. Use a 10-power magnifying glass, jeweler's loupe, or a 20 to 50-power handheld microscope. Resin gland development will be in one of 3 stages: clear, milky white, and amber. The best time to harvest Sinsemilla is when THC production is peaked, but not yet started the degradation process. Sinsemilla flowers are mature 6 to 12 weeks after the photo period has been changed to 12 hours. Established indoor varieties tend to go through 4 to 5 weeks of rapid bud formation before growth levels off. Peak harvest takes place 1 to 3 weeks after growth slows. Avoid the taste of organic or chemical fertilizers in harvested buds by flushing with plain water or a clearing solution 7 to 10 days before harvesting. Do not water for a day or 2 before harvest. The soil should be fairly dry, but not dry enough so plants wilt. This will speed drying time by a day or more and not affect the quality of the end product. And most importantly, plan in advance where you will securely dry all that bud before you cut it.
Well, there's these guys sleeping right over there. I don't know who they are, but I want to keep it quiet. So here's the deal. We're going to harvest now. Get down here so we can see this, because what I'm doing is I'm going to just take these simple scissors and cut this baby at the base. It'll be a little bit hacking, but not bad, especially if I bend it and hack it. Here we go. Now, we're going to take this bud, this beautiful bud of Love Potion number 1, over to the trimming teepee and put some nimble fingers to work.
Proper handling is the key to retaining THC potency after harvest. Prolonged exposure to light, temperatures above 80 degrees, friction from fondling hands, and damp, humid conditions should be avoided. THC exists only in the leaves, flowers, and glandular trichomes, lovingly referred to as resin glands or simply trichomes.
All right, boys. Time for the final test.
All right, that was a clip from George Cervantes' Ultimate Grow Guide, and that was featuring the Trailer Park Boys out of Nova Scotia and the CBC, or Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. They're stars up there.
Yeah, I've done very well up in Canada. Things kind of changed after 9/11 there. It's interesting how this cannabis movement has gone all the way around the world. I've pretty much been in all of the hot spots, so to speak. I mean, where it's legal, I don't like the police, problems. The police are okay, but the problems are not.
When it comes to cannabis, it just isn't right.
No,
so that's what we're
they
fighting.
don't go together very well. But things changed. The movement went very big from Canada to Switzerland, of all places. I mean, we were growing very big amounts in Switzerland, and then Germany was quite big, but it never flourished. And then it was big also in Netherlands for some years. Now it's not. The right wing controls the national government and also many local governments, including the government in Amsterdam.
Is it true they're going to be closing down some of the Dutch coffee shops?
Half the Dutch coffee shops are already closed. It works like football or soccer, you call it here. You get first a yellow card as a warning. The second time you get a red card and you're out. You're gone.
Really?
That's the
and what
way
do they
it is.
give warnings for?
If you're causing trouble, they'll give you a warning, and they can catch you on anything because it's a lot of things are tolerated and the laws, pushed all the time.
Sure.
So it's quite tenuous. And then later I go to Spain, and Spain is very nice. You can grow for personal consumption there. When you buy and sell, that's the bad part. You shouldn't do that. But you can grow for personal consumption, so
that's a freedom
good
we
thing.
don't have here.
Yeah.
That would be a great move forward wherever you go for that.
Definitely, definitely.
We have another phone call here tonight. Welcome to our show, caller. Howdy.
Yes, hi.
Hey.
So I'm calling. I got a quick question for you.
Go right ahead.
So basically, I've been in a lot of accidents. I've actually been in 4 or 5 car accidents. And just recently, I was actually biking and got hit by a truck. It was kind of a tragedy, but I hurt my back really bad. I'm only 28 years old, and most of my friends with the card, the medical card, are a lot older than me. I'm curious, if they would discriminate against me because of my age, or
no, not at all. No, not at all. If you need help finding a doctor who can get a medical marijuana permit for you, we have doctors all across the country, from sea to shining sea, way out in Hawaii to the East Coast in Rhode Island. You can call us at that number on your screen, wherever you are in the United States, at 1-800-723-0188. We'll be happy to refer you to a doctor who can help you. If you're here in the Portland area, you can dial a little more locally at 503-235-4606. We have many doctors who will be happy to help you in your age of 28. If you're truly injured and you're experiencing chronic pain, cannabis might be able to help.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely am experienced chronic pain, and that's one thing that has always helped me. So, but my other quick question was just as far as seeing a doctor. I don't have any medical insurance, or
well, when you were hit by that truck, did their insurance cover your initial medical treatments?
Yeah, I was going to a chiropractor for the first 2 weeks. And then it interfered with work, and I just kind of quit going and didn't follow through on my claim, which is, kind of stupid. But
Well, you just call that office, and they'll be happy to help you. So give us a call at 800-723-0188. You can leave a message 24 hours a day, and somebody will get back to you either the next day or come Monday.
Sweet. I'll definitely check into that then. Thanks for all your help, man. So.
Thank you. Good luck. And what I generally recommend is that people eat cannabis for chronic pain, and that it lasts longer and works better that way. It's really the CBD in cannabis, the cannabidiol, that's the primary medicine for pain. That can be found throughout the plant, including in the leaf. And so you can consume the leaf orally and not get the high associated with cannabis, but get the pain relief. It also is great for most of the other conditions that medicinal marijuana will help. So THC is useful for a few things, but CBD is the main medicinal element in cannabis.
Yeah, and you should have a 1-to-1 ratio. That's what they're using. That's what the Sativex uses. And then also, let's see, there's a German company that has a 1-to-2 ratio, but a high ratio of CBD is very important. And there's quite a few new varieties that are coming out on the market now.
That's right. I was just going to mention that.
Exactly. One of my favorites is Cannatonic, and that comes out of
Neat
Spain.
name.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's quite good. In fact, I just got an email from Jaime the other day that he said that he has a new Cannatonic that has 10% CBD in it. And that's damn high.
A lot.
Right.
That's really high.
Right.
Yeah, because the Cannatonic has 6.
But imagine the pain relief you get out of that.
It's great. It's great. I like to smoke it, and it's just all my shoulder pain goes away, and then it's great for the insomnia. Sometimes I can't sleep, and the insomnia, it works great for that.
Cool. Great. We have another caller. Welcome to our show, caller.
Yes, hello?
Hello.
You there?
Yes. I'm calling obviously from Portland, but my brother is in San Diego, and he's a medical marijuana grower.
Uh-huh.
And he went on to Ustream TV, but he doesn't see what to click on or something to be able
Oh,
to...
it's the chat box. It's off to as you're looking at the screen, it's off to your right.
Okay.
There's a little technical info there.
All right, and then just a quick comment to George. Boy, the old days of the store on Foster have long gone, but it's good seeing you're still around.
You know me.
Yeah.
That's one thing we haven't talked about. You used to have a horticulture store here here in Portland.
Yeah, I sure did, and I got scared out of business, basically.
When Green Merchant came down, and I can understand that. I got caught up in the Green Merchant directly, not the first wave.
They got you whacked a little bit more than me.
They, thank goodness a jury kind of saved my life there. That was a story I told you the other day.
Yep.
But I've mentioned it here on the show a few times.
I was very fortunate. 3 different clients came into my store and said that the police tried to get get them to say that I helped them grow and that I was in their grow room. Since, I've always been an honest guy, and I work very hard to be honest with other people. They're honest back with me, and I love that.
Yeah.
Nobody rolled over me, and I wasn't rolled over on me, and I wasn't in any one of those grow rooms. But they could have lied to save their ass. Right. And they were honest, and they were good people.
That's good.
And so, but sometimes, when you're walking around with a crosshair across your forehead, it was time to leave.
Yeah, I can understand. So in Spain, there's this huge conference there, the Spana Business Conference. You want to tell our viewers a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's the biggest business fair there is now in Europe. I go to 8 fairs every year, or not this year because I've been in America, but I go to fairs every year. There's 3 fairs in Spain, 2 in Madrid, 2 in Barcelona, and 1 in Madrid, and then there's also now another fair in Bologna, which is new in Italy, because that's a little spooky, Berlusconi's kind of a tough guy. And anyway, then there's also a fair in Austria, which is Cultiva. You can find it at cultiva.at. There's another big fair in Switzerland. It's called Cannatrade, and CANNATRADE.ch. CH is for Switzerland, and that's in Basel now this year. Last year it was too. There's another one in Cannabis, I believe, is resurrected again in Germany, and that's over by Cologne. It's either in Cologne or in Ketzebrauxel. It's a suburb of Cologne. One of those. There's 3 cities there, but it's right outside. And Netherlands no longer has a big fair. That one was broken. Neither does Paris, or I mean France. It's always in Paris usually. But and then there's a couple other smaller ones that I go to. But Cannabis is great. It's the biggest fair, the business fair. There's a lot of money changes hands there, and it's a major fair. And you know, the fairs here, they're all right, but nothing like Europe. Nothing like Europe.
Yeah, I went to the Cannabis one in the late 90s. Yeah, the late 90s, 98, 99.
That was
the biggest one then, and it was very professional, way beyond anything I've seen in the United States even today. But the ones since then, like Cannabis, that surpasses it.
It used to be, the big fair used to be in Netherlands. It was High Life Amsterdam, and then later they moved it down to Haarlem or south of there in Yarbers and stuff. And then Holland's out of favor, or the Netherlands is out of favor. It's rough times there. And I get emails from my friends there, and they're always unpleasant.
But they still have the Cannabis Cup there for the High Times event. So.
Yeah, but that's a bunch of Americans that go over there, and it's a little microcosm.
I've played it, so I know. You're right.
Yeah, it's all right, but that's what it is. It's not Europe. It's a bunch of Americans that go there. It did start everything, you know, and that helped. It did, and there was a lot of Brits that came there, a lot of Japanese that came there, a lot of different Europeans. But, you know, it's not like what it was. There's a couple of fairs that are big now. Like I say, Cannabis is big. The other one in Madrid is big. That's put on by the same guys, the Cannabis people. And then I think they've got they've got a fair down there in Malaga now in South Spain. And then, but I haven't been to that one. Yeah, so, you know, there's
burgeoning.
And then for several years, you know, Cannatrade was huge. It was huge. I remember when Santa Claus would go around and give you literally 100 grams of cannabis. You know, I mean.
Well, there was that period from '97 till 2000.
That's a good Santa Claus.
Yeah.
In 2002, the Swiss curtailed their experiment to have legal cannabis and the doof.
Well, yeah, what it was kind of like a glitch in the law because they didn't distinguish rope from dope, you know. And on one side you have cannabis hemp, and on the other side you have cannabis drug, and it wasn't distinguished as cannabis drug until it was rolled into a joint. And but still, it's not drug at this point. It has to be lit. They have to light it, and then it turns into a drug.
I see.
So everybody was growing fields.
But then they changed that in 2002. Changed that distinction.
And then it took several years for it to slow down. You know, it took about 4 years for it to quit.
Now, what's the scene now?
It's much quieter. It's much quieter. But you know, I mean, first thing, Swiss people are very, very smart, and they learn very, very quickly, and so they learned what basically take other nations 15 years to learn. They learn in 3 years, and so immediately they grow fields and they start exporting, and that's where the problems came. You know, because there's old families that have always smuggled, always, and they just went from chocolate and cigarettes to cannabis.
All right.
You know.
We have another caller here standing by. Welcome to the show, caller.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions. I didn't know if the Cannabis Cafe is still operating, and if they are, what the address is.
Yeah, we went over that. They are still operating, and they're on 82nd Avenue.
Do you know the address?
322 Southeast 82nd.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to know is there some place where I can get a few cuttings?
That's a good question. I know there must be some place where you can do that. I can't advise you on that right here on the air, but I'm sure there are a bunch of places you can get a few good cuttings out there.
Okay. Well,
sorry I can't help you more directly, but you know, there's a lot of people listening.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. If you have a question for us, gee, we got about another 10 or 12 minutes here. We'll take a few more phone calls at 503-288-4448 and go from there.
Yeah, by the way, I do know, but I can't say right now.
Hey, here's something I'd like to say. I just came from dinner with my friend Jeff, who wrote this book, Teeming with Microbes, and it's an excellent book, wonderful book. It's all about growing organically. You put a good biology with your soil, and you're going to grow a lot bigger plants. You're going to have way fewer problems. You're not going to have, all of these invasions to the roots and everything. The microbes will help so much.
I've been using the mycorrhizal enzymes for years.
Excellent.
That helps the nutrients break down and feed the roots. Those. What other microbes can you tell me
the thing is with the microbes, they make the fertilizer, the nutrients that are available, and they make them available in the soil. There's already a lot of things in the soil that just are not available. To make it available is a big thing. Just because something has a big NPK number, like 10, 20, 30 or whatever on the label, doesn't mean that the plant is going to use it. That plant, it doesn't use that always, or uses a fraction of it. The main thing is to get the stuff used. And anyway, like I say, give this a shot and you'll be much happier. And the other thing is too, people spend a lot for fertilizers and stuff. That's not necessary. You can grow a 10-pound plant in a 200-gallon container with good soil, and for your flowering fertilizer, you have two hands like this full of bat guano. Should have gloves on because it's poop. It's not good. But you throw that on there, and that's it. That's all you have to give for the whole year. That's it, So if you fill your head with good things, you don't have to put too much on your plants. It's a very good thing.
Very good point. Yeah, I like growing in the ground. Moving those 200-gallon containers can really hurt your back sometimes.
No, you put them on a pallet.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't have to move it. See, since things are legal, we don't have to put our plants on wheels anymore. It's a good deal.
Thank goodness for that. We have another caller standing by here. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hi, how you doing?
Pretty well. How about yourself?
Well, I'm kind of wondering, as a professional and a teacher with chronic knee pain, I was wondering how risky is it to really have a medical marijuana card?
If you don't tell anyone about it, they won't know. I was very paranoid the very first year I had my medical marijuana card, but since then I now have gotten beyond that worry, and it's actually a great protection. And when traveling through airports in medical marijuana states or in interactions with law enforcement, it's really a big relief to know that you're legal. And that's a big advantage. I really don't think the risk is from having a medical marijuana card. I think the risk is from not having a medical marijuana card.
Right.
True.
And you're going to have some boundaries that you cannot cross if you're dealing with children anyway. You know that. And so as long as you maintain, a very good common sense about your uses there, then you shouldn't have any problems with that. And keep it confidential. It is a confidential issue. This is a health issue between you and your doctor.
True. That is very great information. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for your call.
Bye.
So the big plant video that you produced, you're working on some others, and you've got that one out there on how the best way to do that. I know I'm gearing up right now to make my cuttings for this April.
Excellent.
I always try to make them right around the first of the year, so they're good 3 to 5 feet tall when they go in April. And,
that's what you have to remember. This plant's really, really easy to grow. Some people call it a weed. It grows everywhere. Everywhere.
It's amazing how big
plant.
It will grow too.
Exactly. It grows huge.
24 plants in an area, and it's just jam packed. And so now I've cut it back to 9. I've seen, 3 plants fill a 60 by 30 greenhouse in a season.
Yeah, that's totally possible. There's people who are growing plants, 20 pounds. It's very, very possible. It's not that difficult. The main thing is it takes time for it to grow that big. If it doesn't have time, the plants indoors, they can grow 1 meter high, and that's it, because the light is limiting and the pot is limiting. But when you have a plant that has plenty of soil and there's time for the biology to take place in the soil, for the roots to absorb everything, you're going to have a lot bigger plant. And like I say, you're taking your cuttings right after Christmas, first of the year. That's what you should be doing. And you're growing cuttings too, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, but the thing is, your cuttings have been acclimated to this climate.
Right.
This is Sunset Western Garden Book Zone 8. 8A or B, I can't remember. But, you know, that means the last average day of frost is April 15th, I think, okay? So I'm in zone 14, where I'm at in California right now. I can start a bit earlier. But the main thing is, you can put these plants outside. You got to keep them from flowering, so that means they're going to need a little light to keep it from flowering, because, you know, it's a daylight sensitive plant. But the other thing is, they're going to need heat, and that's about it. It can be raining cats and dogs outside. As long as they're warm enough, they're going to grow. Yeah, and they don't need tons of light early on in the year.
We have another caller on the line here. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hello?
Hello.
There you are.
How you doing?
Good.
Pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. I'm just trying to talk about basically legalizing marijuana all around and how I'm really pushing for it here in Oregon.
Me too.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a petition. We just gathered our sponsorship signatures to completely legalize marijuana. It would regulate the sale and allow people to grow marijuana without a license, permit, or registration. If you want to find out more about it, you can go to our website at hemp.org.
Okay.
That's HEMP.org. But we're gearing up for an election in November 2012, about 23 months away right now. But we're starting early, and I'm sure that we'll see a vote here in Oregon and in several other western states, California, Washington, Colorado, and perhaps others, to completely legalize marijuana here in 2012.
Anyways, can I...
Yeah, you can.
I just want to say that I really enjoy the show.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Thanks for calling in.
You guys are fuckers.
Oh, there's one of those. I could feel that one coming, you know. I could feel that coming, but oh well. You know.
Well, that's a cheap shot, isn't it?
I guess so.
I can't even see that guy, and he's calling me names. I call that guy chicken.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. Well, what's coming up soon in your life, George, for the next round? I know you're preparing to do some more videos.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to Spain. I've got a bunch of things I've got to do there. I've got, you know, a complete life there and many, many friends, hundreds of friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go to a few fairs. But my main emphasis now is I'm doing more foreign books. And I'm also doing a lot of videos. Videos is a big thing. I shot hours. We'll have about 6 hours of video in the next 4 months, 6 months. Takes a long time to edit it, but you know, that's good video. These last videos I did, the video you showed was that's 6 years old, I think. That was one we shot up in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Those I did with High Times magazine. And I just heard you say that Danny Danko was going to be at this.
Yeah,
he's the writer that took over my job. He's quite good. But anyway, I did those with High Times magazine, and now I'm doing my own videos. And you know, production values have changed. We're 5 years ahead, so I look forward to doing some very high quality videos. Yeah.
That's great. And your website, it's marijuanagrowing.com?
Yes.
And what can our viewers find there? Kind of tips and access to your books and videos?
Yeah, you can buy books there, videos, whatnot. You can see, download a lot of different things for free. Excerpts from this book and other books. If you're into different languages, you can have those. I think that's really important to spread this movement all over the world, and it's much bigger everywhere else in the world than you might imagine. It's pretty cool. And then also you can find there my new videos that I'll be putting out. But like I say, this 10-pound plant video is quite good, and it'll be very inspiring, and you should start your clones New Year's Day.
That's what I've been saying for years. Well, I want to welcome you home back here to the great Northwest. We're glad to have you back, and you've got an open invitation to come back here anytime you're in town. And thank you for coming on tonight. You can find out more about George's website at marijuanagrowing.com.
Oh, and there's one more thing I want to mention.
Please.
There's iweed.org. iweed.org. It's one of those little applications on the little iPhones. It's an excellent site or an app. I will go there. You can look up anything. You can carry it around with you. And for all you sushi guys, anybody here like sushi?
I think there's some of us here who do.
I'm junky about sushi. Go to Tani's. It's over on Woodstock and 48th. Ah, best sushi in the world.
All right. Thank you, George. I want to thank you folks out there for watching, and we'll be back next week. Well, that's our last live show of the year. We'll have some tape shows coming up on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, but our last live show is next week on the 17th. I want to thank you for watching. We're going to go out on the music of Mr. Tim Pate and Jonathan Eder. Tune in next week and help us restore hemp. Good night.